As oil continues to leak to the surface at the Cold Lake Air Weapons Range, and with the uncertainty of not knowing when the CNRL spill will stop, there are concerns about the impact on the environment. Many locals, especially First Nations members, continue to voice their unease around the current situation. They're concerned on what kind of lasting effect it could have on the surrounding area.
The main concern is that the contamination, the potential impacts in the long term that would deter us from using the land in the future.
The NRL says they are making every effort to contain the spill and limit the damage. Jill Janvier just hopes the company and others are paying attention to what can happen.
I think it's a lesson learned. I think that's important for CNRL as well as other oil companies to see what happened and learn from it and to improve that in the future.
Now, the leaks were first spotted in May. The Calgary-based company said the damage has been contained and the cleanup is proceeding well. Cold Lake's fire and rescue officials have been working to add a rescue boat to their fleet, but cost and lack of funding delayed the arrival of their newest member until now. As Clayton Brown explains, it may have taken nearly a decade to finally get the boat, but it only took a matter of minutes before it paid off.
It's been a long wait for some, but thanks to OSUM, Cold Lake Fire and Rescue finally have a rescue boat. Without the generous donation of the boat, which would have cost $50,000, Jeff Fallow and his crew would have been waiting much longer.
The boat has been probably in the works for 10 plus years. The hope was that sooner rather than later we would have had the boat, but with the cost of the boat, it wasn't something that we were able to purchase. And so again, with OSUM stepping up like this, it definitely made things happen that probably wouldn't happen for years to come yet.
When Fire and Rescue previously assisted RCMP with boating emergencies, they often had to rely on their own members.
Normally our members, if the RCMP aren't available, use their own boats, which was what happened recently about a month and a half ago. And with this boat now, this is a capability that'll be huge for us. We just have to take it, drop it in the lake, and bring it to whatever lake we need.
The city only received the boat 2 weeks ago, and it hadn't even been completely outfitted with all their gear before it was put into action this past Sunday after a boat capsized and left 3 boaters fighting for their lives.
He was hypothermic. He didn't have a PFD on him, and he was actually hanging onto a fuel can, a 12-liter fuel can that was in the boat, and that was the only evidence of a boat on the water.
Some good Samaritans who were also boating were able to help the one victim stay above water until help arrived.
Had that civilian boat not gone out there, it was potentially we could have lost that one gentleman.
The other 2 were able to swim to shore, where all 3 were treated for hypothermia. In Cold Lake, Clayton Brown, Newcap News.
Foster families in the border city region are needed, but these kids are a little furrier than what you might think. Graham McCann has more.
The SPCA is in need of foster families with loving homes in and around the Lloydminster region to help the puppies and kittens currently housed there.
We usually use foster families for behavioral needs, medical conditions, maternity, or else overpopulation.
There is currently not an issue with overpopulation at the SPCA, but there will soon be more space needed for young animals that will be old enough for adoption. One of the main concerns is maternity care.
Maternity situations can involve a litter of kittens or, of course, puppies as well with their mother, or else they can be motherless, which can involve bottle feeding. The SPCA provides foster families with any sort of any items that they may need, and the only thing that the foster family has to provide is love and care, and if it is a dog situation, then of course a fenced yard.
If an animal has some kinds of behavioral problems such as obedience and leash training, the SPCA is grateful for those who can provide training. A typical foster situation can last from 2 weeks to up to a half a year, but there are some situations where foster parents become full owners of the animal or animals.
So foster families get the first pick on adoption if they do decide to adopt their foster furry friend.
For more information on how to become a foster parent or to adopt, contact the Lloydminster SPCA at 780-875-2809. Graham McCann, Newcap News.